Anyone who has worked with computers or software will attest to the wonders that technology can accomplish. But for software companies, creating the actual software is only half the battle. Devising the method of testing is equally challenging, and in order to create excellent software, an effective and efficient software testing process is needed. The purpose of this presentation is to give the testing professional a brief review of the evolution of testing, how it started, where it's been, what's happening now, and the possible evolution in the future. If you don't know where you've been, how do you know where you're going? Back in the olden days, the 1950s, the primary method of testing anything was debugging. In the late 70s, when disco reigned, the approach evolved to one of destruction. Basically, the testers would break down the code to find holes or gaps in it. Now, this method was effective, but it was not until the advent of prevention-oriented methodologies that we began to enjoy the benefits of more robust software applications. In 1979, Glenford J. Myers, technology executive and author of The Art of Software Testing, correctly hypothesized that there must be a distinction between debugging, which means identifying and eliminating bugs in the software code, and actual testing the software in real-world settings. It was during this time that there was a distinct shift towards software testing as we know it today. Now, if you are watching this video on your computer, the internet browser you are using has gone through countless hours of testing to ensure the software is not only stable, but secure as well. There are many bad actors out there trying to exploit weaknesses in the code, and the only barrier between us and that chaos is effective software testing. Similarly, the operating system you are operating on your computer is a work of human ingenuity. Envision having to draft a software program that not only can handle the ever-changing needs of users, but can also manage hardware drivers and a host of other conflicting resources. It's no wonder programmers work as hard as they do. Every component of the software system must act in harmony, and if the software is not coded correctly, it will not only crash, but could also affect other programs within the same directory or system. In order to conduct effective software testing, you must build something that works seamlessly, and then to make things interesting, you need to figure out ways to make it crash in order to correct the associated flaws. This is not an easy undertaking, and surely not for the faint of heart. An important question to ask is who will be using the software. Will it be a single end user, or multiple users at the enterprise level, or both? The level of complexity in the coding will be dictated by the end user. Will the software have a one-time release, or will there be ongoing updates? This and similar issues are worth considering when programmers are hashing out ideas. Testing is an investment. Usually, you get what you put into it. If you take the time to carefully think out your testing practice, you determine and advance your processes, and you invest in third-party testing software tools that help you accomplish your objectives, you will get the returns that serve you well. If you try to do it on the cheap or cut corners in your planning, you set yourself up for disappointment. At its base level, testing is insurance. It can save you money from errors that could cost your company money or its reputation. Stepping up from that, careful and rigorous testing can help you to save money in the development process. Not investing in testing shouldn't even be an issue. You may look at the cost of personnel, hardware, software, external consultants, or other resources and say, this is just way too expensive. You may decide to roll the dice and do minimal testing or no testing at all. But if you're going to bet that nothing bad will happen, you might as well go to Las Vegas and bet your whole wad of cash on black. Go ahead and spin that wheel. You'll get odds there that are better than betting that a costly error won't occur. But if that argument isn't enough to convince you of the dangers of not testing, how about these statistics? If you are in banking, the average cost per hour of error is $8.5 million. If you're in retail, it's $750,000 per hour. And if you are an airline, it's $350,000 per hour. These figures are based on published hacks, jacks, or cracks that occurred at companies in those industries. This is what their loss of income due to an error that could have been prevented via testing cost them. So now you got to ask yourself, what's your testing budget? Around 2008, technology advances in testing software had begun to address the issues of very manual-intensive test processes. Up until that point, testing really was an investment. It was a level of insurance against code disaster. At the end of the day, it was a cost center. But test automation started to address many of those issues. A stroke of the keyboard or a click of the mouse button and long and complex test cases would run automatically. They could even be programmed to run when no one was around and when computing resources were at their highest. This eliminated the need for unnecessarily large testing groups doing low-level, repetitive testing. The machine replaced that which was redundant, allowing professional testers to focus on higher-level investigations. Repeatability drove more accuracy in the testing process because the test case was run the same way every time. Error due to fatigue disappeared because computers just don't get tired. And for the very first time, companies began to have some metrics to see how an investment in testing software could actually benefit the organization in real dollars. Reduced man-hours could provide real dollar calculations of money saved. The need for massive low-cost offshore testers began to be reduced. Testing professionals could focus in other areas that benefited the organization, and more frequent testing and more complex testing occurred. Now, are you ready to hear the really exciting change? Well, here it is. In many instances, using automated testing software can help companies make more money faster. There are many examples of this occurring, but one simple illustration will suffice. If you can push a product out to market faster than the competition, what's that worth? That's a tough question to quantify, but here's one that you can. If you could add extra months to your selling cycle because you released a product or service faster, what's that worth? Now we're getting somewhere. Using simple math, you can calculate the time saved via automated testing, multiply that times the revenue for a single product, and then multiply that times the number of units or sold or customers acquired. And now you have a number that's pretty interesting. That number represents increased revenue. Test automation can save your company time in the testing process, and it might also possibly make you more money. And those new dynamics have created a new paradigm of testing. In the past, testing was often viewed as a necessary expense. It was separate from the production budget and often subject to budget reduction during lean times. The new paradigm is that it is not separate from the production cycle, but part of it. Testing is critical to ensure optimal productive efficiency, protection from bad actors, insurance against loss of the brand or customer due to glitches in the system, and a means to move product to market faster, thus increasing revenue opportunities for the business enterprise. When you consider the importance of testing, the ability to measure reliability, security, and quality through test automation, you'll find that it's not a separate function, but a mission-critical component to the enterprise. For more information on implementing the best practices of testing in your organization, visit assert.com or give us a call. The phone call is free, And so is the information.